Scott McKenzie, the Solution Warrior here. So, what I want to talk about today is this idea of building consensus. And a couple years ago, my family and I, including my parents, my sister and her family, my nephews, my kids, we all went on this Alaskan cruise. And the hardest thing we had to do was to get this group of 15 individuals to agree on what excursions that we were going to go on. And I have to tell you, it was probably one of the most challenging things I've ever tried to experience in my life. Not only because we're dealing with family, but also just trying to get this disparate group of people to make any kind of decision and come to an agreement on what it is that we're going to do on this vacation. So, what I have learned in my personal life and in business is that building consensus really kind of comes down to three main things that I'm going to talk about here. So, number one is that you need to be a facilitator. There's my terrible spelling. Number one is being a facilitator. What I mean by that is, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's in business, is doing the job of being a facilitator is somebody who brings people together so that you can communicate, whether that be bringing vendors together, whether that be bringing different individuals from the different sides of the business, whether that be IT, whether that be operations. But you being a facilitator means that you're getting these people and these individuals inside of these different departments what they need in order to help them make a decision. The number two step is really to see things from their perspective, right? And that's a hard thing to do, right? I mean, we're all human beings. We see things through our own lens. But seeing the world through their perspective, from their wants and needs, someone in IT has a very different perspective from if they're trying to if you're trying to get them to implement a project, they may be very busy, overwhelmed, overloaded. Their project load is more than they can handle. And so being able to see life from their perspective is not something that we do naturally, right? We are self-centered individuals and self-centered human beings. That's just how we operate. It's who we are. And really putting yourself in their shoes to be able to see that perspective really makes a difference in terms of how you facilitate and how you communicate. And then the third thing that I have found is really the hardest part about this whole process, and that is getting these different individuals to agree. Right? Which is really the hardest part about this whole thing, and that really is what you're driving to as you're building consensus. Let me put this in context of business. So when I work with customers to make a decision on barcoding and data collection projects, I'm typically working with a combination of really three different categories of individuals. One being the IT department, the other being the operations side, and then the third being some leadership team. And so inside of the folks that I'm working with, I'll usually have one or two individuals that are really working to promote the project. And so their job inside of building consensus, and let's just say they're in the operations side, they're the ones that own the problem. Their inventory is messed up. They're looking for a solution. And so the first step that they usually reach out to is to find someone that can help them. And inside of that process of building consensus, what they need to do from the IT side is to make sure that IT understands that whatever solution that they're bringing to bear will either have minimal impact or will not require a bunch of their time from a support perspective, and that it's not going to goof up the IT systems. From the leadership side perspective, the operations individual that's championing these projects need to be able to clearly articulate what the value is, why it's important to take care of this project now, how this project will financially positively impact the business. And so by being that facilitator, what you do is you communicate having from their different perspectives so that you can lead everybody towards agreement and build this thing called consensus. So I hope that's helpful. Scott McKenzie, Solution Warrior signing off. Have yourself an awesome day today.